reported last night that Arsenal are ready to enter the race to sign the Crystal Palace defender, Marc Guéhi. Our understanding is that he is a player that they have held a long-term interest in as well. Interesting this, isn't it, James? I mean, look, Arsenal are rock solid defensively. They've got a number of defenders who can play centre-back and a very established, clear number one, number two pairing. Can you really see them going in for another A-list defender?
In this window, it seems unlikely, but as we've been reporting, there's been a long-standing interest from the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, all the big clubs like Barcelona, Bayern Munich and Real Madrid have a long-term interest in signing Marc Guéhi, and the majority want to sign him as a free agent in the summer. The question is, in this window, will anybody attempt to try to sign him now? Because we know that Crystal Palace would be willing to do business if a suitable offer came in, because I think they're desperate not to let him go for free, albeit they see the benefits of what Marc Guéhi staying until the end of the season can do in terms of what they're able to do, in terms of the Premier League finish, in terms of winning a trophy again, and what that could do financially for the club, and what that could do, therefore, in terms of recruiting players next summer. Let's look at the options that Arsenal have right now at centre-back. They've got Gabriel and Saliba, arguably the best centre-back pairing in the Premier League. Behind them, they've got Mosquera and Nketiah. They've also got Timber and Ben White, who were signed as centre-backs as well, who largely play on the right side now. And Calafiori can play as centre-back and at left-back. They have so many options there right now. I think what it would say is if Arsenal were to strongly pursue Marc Guéhi either in January or the summer, then I think it would raise questions about the future of some of these 7 players. A lot of them have long-term contracts, but that would raise questions, because one thing Arsenal have done, and they've been criticised for it, but they've been vindicated by it, is they've tried to replace players whilst they're in a strong position. They replaced Aaron Ramsdale, who was doing well, with David Raya. That's worked out. Every area of the pitch, it's felt like they've been fine in that position, but they've strengthened and it's made them stronger. So maybe this is another situation where they want to create even more competition. That feels like, can you create even more competition in that centre-back area without spreading rumours or creating false narratives? If they're signing Marc Guéhi, then you'd think one of those senior players could be potentially on the way out.
Arsenal enter race to sign Marc Guéhi from Crystal Palace with Manchester City on the list. Marc Guéhi choose Arsenal over Manchester City. Arsenal launch move for Brazilian midfielder and may need to seal deal quickly. Arsenal have initiated contact for the signing of a Brazilian midfielder, though with a transfer rival weighing up a bid, they may need to move quickly. Arsenal have spent colossal sums over the past few years to help assemble one of the deepest and most quality-filled squads in all of European football. Aiding that cause is the fact very few players of any real standing have departed over that time. The end results are there for all to see, with the Gunners leading the Premier League and favourites to win the Champions League. But with Arsenal competing for trophies on 4 fronts and aiming to be in that position each and every year, adequate strength and depth is a must. To that end, TNT Sports Brazil have brought news of Arsenal looking into the signing of Brazilian midfielder Breno Bidon. The Corinthians ace is just 20 years old, though already boasts extensive experience, having played over 100 times for his club. Bidon helped Corinthians win both the Campeonato Paulista and Copa do Brasil in 2025, and per the report, he's a man in demand. Arsenal have reportedly contacted Corinthians management, though as it stands, that's as far as it's got, and no formal offer has been made. If Mikel Arteta's side do intend to follow through and sign the player, they may need to act fast after the report noted Flamengo have weighed up making an offer. They stated, last week Flamengo contacted representatives of Dodici Sports, the company that manages the 20-year-old athlete's career, and, according to information from journalist Monique Danello of TNT Sports Brazil, considered making an offer to buy the player, but so far no offer has been presented. Bidon is also understood to be on the radars of as-yet unnamed clubs in Italy and Portugal too. In other news, Arsenal are pressing ahead with plans to sign Ayoub Bouadi from Lille, according to a report, while we have already revealed which Premier League clubs they will need to fend off to complete the transfer. Elsewhere, our sources have responded to claims Arsenal will let Ben White leave this month. Mikel Arteta's side have been tipped to rival Liverpool and Manchester City for Crystal Palace captain Marc Guéhi. Arsenal news: Mikel Arteta to make 3 Arsenal changes versus Nottingham Forest as David Raya returns. Arsenal face Nottingham Forest on the road in Saturday's late Premier League kickoff. The Gunners went on a 5-match league winning streak before the goalless stalemate against Liverpool at the Emirates Stadium last week. The London Giants were far from their best against the holders and struggled to impose themselves during the second half in particular. Despite the frustrating stalemate, the club have a handy 6-point cushion over Manchester City and Aston Villa at the top of the standings. For tomorrow's trip to the City Ground, manager Mikel Arteta could make 3 changes from the 3-2 win over Chelsea in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final at Stamford Bridge. David Raya returns in goal. Kepa Arrizabalaga conceded a couple of goals during the League Cup tie. He probably should have stayed on his line for Alejandro Garnacho's first strike and should have been more commanding in the box from the corner which led to Garnacho's second goal. The Spaniard is poised to drop to the bench with compatriot Raya replacing him. Raya is an undisputed starter between the sticks for the Premier League and Champions League games. The $27 million signing will be eyeing his 11th clean sheet of the league season. 2 changes in attack. Arsenal rotated their attack during the 3-2 league win at Bournemouth earlier this month. Noni Madueke and Gabriel Martinelli were brought in on the right and left wing respectively on the back of the 4-1 victory over Aston Villa at the Emirates. With the short turnaround time from Wednesday, it won't be a surprise if Madueke gets the nod over Bukayo Saka on the right wing. The Arsenal graduate played the full 90 minutes at the Bridge. Leandro Trossard returned from a minor knock to face the Blues and could get replaced by Martinelli, who bagged his maiden hat-trick against Portsmouth in the FA Cup third round last weekend. Martinelli has a good record against Forest, with 4 goal contributions in 6 meetings. Arsenal are reportedly serious about signing Ayoub Bouwadi and have already taken concrete steps to strengthen their position ahead of potential rival interest. The Gunners view the youngster as a key target for the future and are eager to move swiftly, aware that several top clubs are also closely monitoring his situation. Arsenal move quickly amid strong competition. Budon is regarded internally as a player with significant long-term potential, which has prompted Arsenal to accelerate their plans. With competition intensifying, the club believe that early action is essential if they are to secure his signature. PSG are among the sides pushing hardest, continuing their familiar strategy of attempting to keep top French talents within Ligue 1. The French champions have a strong record of persuading young players to remain in France, and their interest represents a serious challenge. Arsenal is aware that PSG's stature and recent history could appeal to the Lille teenager, making the race for his signature increasingly competitive. This has added urgency to Arsenal's approach as they look to strengthen their squad planning beyond the current season. For Arsenal, Budon is seen as someone who could significantly improve their options in the future. Ensuring the squad continues to evolve with high-potential players remains a priority at the Emirates, and this deal is considered particularly important as the club looks to maintain an edge over domestic and European rivals. Lille is open to negotiations. Recent developments suggest Arsenal have moved beyond initial interest. According to Star Sports, the Gunners have now taken formal steps with Lille to explore an agreement for Budon. Discussions are understood to be at early stages, but the move signals clear intent from Arsenal to get ahead of the competition. The report suggests the transfer could be planned for the summer, but Arsenal's immediate action is designed to position them favorably against other interested clubs. Lille are reportedly open to selling, provided their valuation is met, which encourages Arsenal as talks progress. In the coming days, Arsenal hope to make further advances in negotiations. While nothing has been finalized, their willingness to act decisively highlights how highly Budon is rated by the club. Should they succeed, it would underline Arsenal's commitment to securing top young talent and strengthening their squad for the seasons ahead. Arsenal defender Oleksandr Zinchenko could be set to return to the Emirates after an underwhelming loan spell with Nottingham Forest. The Ukrainian international moved to the City Ground this summer, but may have his season-long loan deal cut short this month. We've spoken to the player, made him clear on his situation, revealed Forest boss Sean Dyche. He's aware of that, so we'll see what happens. The 29-year-old has struggled to nail down a starting spot in his new side. He has made just 10 appearances since his summer switch and was recently removed from Forest's European League squad. Dyche continued, "As I said, we'll see what happens, but we're very open with him. He's a thorough professional. He has been, and I'm sure he will be going forwards no matter what." Zinchenko has not been helped by the tumultuous nature of his time with Forest. Since he joined on deadline day at the start of September, he has already played under 3 different managers at the City Ground. His current boss explained, "No, we just spoke to him about the obvious parameters and the guidelines of what's happening. He's played a couple of games, hasn't featured in others. He's been injured. That hasn't been helpful to him or to us." Zinchenko was substituted at halftime as Forest was knocked out of the FA Cup on penalties by Championship side Wrexham last Friday. The Ukrainian will be ineligible to feature against his parent club this weekend, as Arsenal are welcomed to the City Ground. Dyche maintained, "I've just been open with him, really. It's like I say, I'm open with all players. But I think when you've done as much as he has in the game, it's more of a conversation, not demanding anything other than just telling him the truth as I see it. And that's how much game time he's going to get at this time." Chelsea 2-3 Arsenal. What Declan Rice said in furious tunnel exchange with Arsenal coach. Declan Rice played a starring role in Arsenal's 3-2 win over Chelsea in the League Cup semi-final at Stamford Bridge, and what the English midfielder said during his halftime clash with Arsenal coach has now been revealed by an expert lip reader. Arsenal's men gave themselves a narrow advantage heading into the second tie of their 2-legged clash against the Blues, as Ben White drew first blood in 7 minutes. Striker Viktor Gyökeres doubled their lead after the break before Alejandro Garnacho pulled one back. Unlikely goalscorer Martin Zubimendi plundered Arsenal's 3rd goal in the 71st minute before Garnacho bagged his 2nd of the affair. Spirits were high following the full-time whistle, and they made sure the result wasn't marred by the halftime scenes, which included Rice shouting at Stubenberg.